Okay, let's get started. I think first thing, let's go ahead. There's a duplicate button. Okay. And unfortunately, no. Okay. Well, it was worth a shot. Okay. There's no clean way to do this, is there? Okay. We're gonna work with that for now. Okay. So after this combat, I gave the belt and the mask. So I need to actually pull stat blocks I used so that I can make something from. I think we're going to... Let's use a robe of stars. Do I want them to have to attune to this? I'm kind of fine with this being a not super amazing magic item. Yeah, because we're gonna have it regen its scan. Yeah, we'll make it be attunement. Grab YouTube chat. Wish there was just a better way to do this. I'm sure there is. This. There we go. Okay. Alright, let's see your item. We'll say... I feel like very rare is fine. Let's take all this out. That out, take that out. Oh, right, I forgot. Save. Yes, I'm fine with this. The modifiers, the charges, right? No? We'll knock this down to... let's say 3. Knock this down to 4. Okay. So what we have here is a utility belt that has canisters that will do like a savings to status effect for a relatively low DC. I'm stuck in my smile. Bye. Yeah, I am. I'm stuck. The key combination to set unset is not working. Oh, it's numpad 4. Okay, and this is why we don't set our expressions to keys on our numpad. Not a good idea. Okay. And we will set you. Block. Close enough. You know, I've grown so accustomed to this outfit. This one feels weird to use. Anyways. Okay, before... I think I can add actions, maybe? Do I want to do a weapon attack? I don't really feel like it's a weapon attack per se. But, Really not. Don't know why this reset. Hold up. Where'd my playlist go? Good enough. Okay. Let's save this, because it apparently threw everything I was just working on away. And we'll say this has... do I want to do 3 charges? Yeah. There's a way. You just gotta slit a throat or two to make the weak obey. If you want it, just take it. The world's yours, don't waste it. Go make the stars align to shine brighter, brighter than the heavens and the skies above. You'll be brighter, going supernova, all the eyes look up. Not a shot in the dark. Not up to chance if you've got plans. Maybe under conditions, actually. No. Okay. Okay. All utility belts need durable, including a man team with sizing to fit the wielder upon a tune. Three canisters. Good. What's the word for something that what's the word that I'm looking for? It's not compartments.
Turn around and everything has changed.
Um... 3 canisters are clipped to the belt. I mean, I could do 4 to make it 2 on each side. I like being symmetrical. You know, we're gonna do 4 canisters. And we'll have it regen 1d4 on Dawn. Two canisters. No, that's gonna be confusing. Canisters are clipped to the belt and contain various hazardous substances made to trigger the enemy as when you take attack. Back, then you go of your attacks to catch a canister from this clip and throw it at an enemy within 15 feet. That's fine. The question is, do I make the effect random? I feel like that would be bad. I feel like a better way to do this would be to make it so that you can choose one of the following effects. I think that's fine. Target with feet. Okay. Make a saving throw. You choose one of the following effects. Choose one of the following effects. Target must make the listed saving throw or suffer one of the following options. I feel like I have to word this very carefully or I'm going to bring up a lot of questions in character. Following effect. Bullet points. Yeah, bullet points. Alright, let's see. I think I used this one, so let's look at the tactics. Grapple and restrain, stun, poisoned, prone. I don't think I want to give them stunned. That's... yeah, that's really, really strong. So... I think we can do better than that. What are the conditions in 5e? Oh, let's see here. Blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, grappled, cast, petrified, poisoned, prone, restrained, stunned, unconscious. Like, I want this to be decent, but not, like, a headache for me to deal with. I could do invisible, that could be interesting. Advantage on ability checks. I feel like that's a really niche option, but they might find some use for it, actually. So, I think that's fine. Restrain do again? Okay, for one turn, I think that's fine.
Walk in the shadowland, nobody's innocent. Hand
Poison.
mouth, we live like demons. Stuck in the phantom zone, lost in a thunderdome. Twilight ruled the day. We found the impossible.
I feel like I can add some damage on here, actually.
Strong under pressure, we'll make it together. Our universe will change. Freedom looking down a telescope.
Okay, I'm willing to say 1d6 bludgeoning. I wish I knew their BB code, like, yeah.
Escaping gravity, straight to the galaxy, faster than sanity, left behind a land forsaken, black holes and meteors, riding on shooting stars, fearless like our dreams. We shoot down a satellite, wings of a butterfly, constellations recreate and fighting for liberty, raising the energy, bursting at the seams. Freedom looking down a telescope, starlight never been so beautiful. Whole world waiting for us, time to go, escaping gravity.
Okay, the last one was prone and knocked back. Concussion bomb. I do 1d8. Force damage. Do I give them that much free advantage? I mean, like, they have, like, 2 fairy fire spammers. Like, ultimately, it's not gonna change that much. Okay, last one. What is an appropriately intimidating name for something that gives you a level of exhaustion? Alright. I want to give them something appropriately, like, intimidating sounding, because this is supposed to be one of their hints that the person who made this is in league with basically an old bioweapons company. So... Okay. Okay. Not my prettiest, but I think it works. I'm actually going to copy this to make sure that Beyond doesn't eat it.
Was one of the first, a spawn of chaos, a goddess who opposed all gods she came across.
I think this is fine.
Powerful deity destined to reign. I created the prime material plane in a prison of darkness, sealed for my deed, and still driven by my everlasting greed. The dragon called worships me, willing and keen. I only see them as tools, more they've never been. Revel in my sheen, and bow before your queen. Venerate my chromatic dress, 5 heads you see, but I am one. Imprisoned in a burn as though I was never truly gone. I am Tiamat, the queen of dragons. All wealth is mine, my greed is immense. I am Tiamat,
Stun.
bane of Bahamut. Dragon spawn, kobolds and herds are my brood. I am the nemesis of the old gods, archfiend who every evil dragon loves. I am the lady in dark, the many mode. My fiery breath will rip your soul apart. I
Okay, I know what I'm gonna do.
I am Tiamat. All the evil dragons are destined to rule. My own brother dissented. That naive fool. Our ways parted. I sounded my fierce roar, and so it started. The great dragonfall war. I will exert my right to reign every realm. The ones who deny my fire will overwhelm. My head shining red, white, black, blue, and green. Be green if you have seen my divine gleam. And again bow before your queen. Venerate my chromatic dress. 5 heads you see, but I am one. Imprisoned in a bed as though I was never truly gone. I am Tiamat, the queen of dragons. All wealth is mine, my greed is immense. I am Tiamat, bane of Bahamut. Dragon spawn, kobolds and nerds are my brood. I am the nemesis of the old gods, archfiend who every evil dragon lords. I am the lady in dark, the many marred. My fiery breath will rip your soul apart. I am Tiamat. I am the draconic goddess, immortal and restless, banished to the 9 hells, summoned by ritual spells. My fire shall purge the plane of the unclean.
Okay. This is basically me buying some time for myself to figure out what exactly this does do. I know what it does do. I don't know what kind of function I would put onto a magic item for it, though. Because a repaired one of these would basically NPC out whatever character used it. In its current state of development by the cult/company that's making it. This is not something that you come back from, for better or for worse. So, okay. I think this is fine for. Let's refresh the page. Come on now. Believe in you. Okay, do I have to back out? There we go. Okay. So I've covered that for now. I think it's time to figure out where we're going next. I have some ideas, but I need to like so they're here now. They're probably gonna travel this way. So they're gonna be up here for now, and I could either send them back, which is entirely fair, and actually let them hit up this situation here, or I could make like an entire set of everything that's going on here. I don't think that's a bad idea. The main thing is I have, like, no idea what I would want to do. Let's consult my old notes. Here that I can make. Oh shoot, I may not have access. Let's find out. Oh, here we go. Alright, let's take a look. That I don't set up for. I could do that. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I need to do a couple things. I need to plan out the party member okay, so I need to plan out the party members' individual arcs at this point. Alright. So, what do I know about Angelica that I want to mess with? So, Angelica has rival in the Steel Hawks. Trying to remember their name. Where is my DM with 0? There we go. Okay. I'm going to open that media link for now. Do I have it? Okay. Okay. Mission plot. Okay. Okay. So I want to do the guy bulb. Okay. Alright, so we have more or less 2 major goals here. Steel Hawks. Aim. Air. Prized weapon. Eyeball. And then okay. I think I spelled assassination right. Alright, so I think we need to nail down details here. What do I want to do? Who in the Union would have an issue? Probably the church? Maybe, actually? Actually, would the church have an issue with a holy child? I will admit that I have not given a massive amount of thought to the religious context of the setting outside of what is needed for a couple other things. Like, I have a pantheon, but... So... I could tie this into what else is going on. Oh, wait, I like this idea. Okay. So we're gonna cook a bit. So what I've got here, oh, can't do that, it breaks my tracking. So what I have going on is that there's basically an arch that is in the prime material plane, which is unexpected, given that the basically laws of reality prevent divinity and demons from making particularly large incursions into the world. He figured a way out, though. I think what I could do here is say that the birth of an Aasimar was viewed as an attempt for the gods to make a representation on Earth, on the material plane. So this is not good. And we can say that he didn't realize that the mother had given birth yet, so he was trying to kill the mother, kill the kid. So that way he could kind of maintain control for his plans farther into the campaign. Of her mother. Okay. What's the best way to... A supernatural being? Okay. And that is how we're going to tie this together, actually. I have been wondering how I wanted to handle this, because I would like for Angelica's rival to be like a cleric or paladin and start having doubts about their faith. And basically, it would then boil down to this guy convincing them to follow him instead of their god. As he's leading a movement to rely on your common man rather than rely on the gods. And I think this is a good payoff, because his goal is not, in fact, to make people rely less on the gods. It's to himself become the god of blasphemy and heresy. So I think that's how we're going to get some emotional investment there. Now the question is, what does this mean? How can I turn this into an arc? Alright. So, I am thinking... I need something to spur this into motion. And I've already said that this movement is originating from the Union. So they're there, so I can go ahead and lay this seed now. I just realized Anglica. Fix that in a moment. Oh. The bag. There we go. Okay. So, I think there are a couple of... This is going to be, unfortunately, have to be a very nuanced set of arts, now that I think about it. I kind of got to make sure that everything lands right. So... Okay. I want to pose some form of action here. I want to make them go do something. I want to make them fight something, something like that. So, I'll meet this guy. What problems would this guy have? I think clearing up a cultist group might be a good idea. Say that, well, the church isn't doing it, so it falls on the people. Yeah. Question is, why would the Steel Hawks not be doing it? That always is the hard question. Like, why would the guards not just be the ones to deal with the situation? Especially since this country has a particularly well-trained fighting force. I feel like it needs to be something maybe religious motivated. I feel like I'm leaning in on these two particular, like, situations too much. Am I? Oh, hi. Hey, Nixo. Probably not... Maybe... Like, I could kind of see it. Manpower in the area does not work as well. Actually, maybe it does. So, the big thing here is that this union has basically this elite fighting force that they're training, and one of the player characters is a member of it. They're just in a provisional unit that allows them to go adventuring. So, I think I have a way that I would like to tie it in to something that's already going on. The issue is it's kind of absorbed a lot of time so far in the campaign, and I'm concerned about oversaturating because, you know, if you beat a subject too much, it's going to be dead. So... And I don't feel like actually that's the goal of what's going on here. The goal... maybe. So, another piece that's kind of going on here is that there's basically an ongoing... Actually, turn the music down a little bit. There's basically an ongoing incursion by aberrations from... I'm going to say like an outer plane, but it's basically the plane of dreams. And they've been dealing with that a lot since the start of the campaign. Because one of the characters started their warlock patron basically is one of them. So, what I was thinking was that they could go deal with these cultists who are maybe worshipping some... don't really know what. Maybe one of these things. And they get a book, or they find like a book that leads them in the direction of a manor that I already have planned that would kind of serve as a former base of operations for maybe like an order that did hunt these things. The issue is I am concerned about oversaturating the campaign with that at the moment, just because it's been such a hot topic. So maybe if I make it minor, maybe if I just make it that they find the book. it won't be, like, that bad. I'm just concerned that I'm concentrating too much at the moment, because I feel like I can drop that and then let it go for a bit, because there isn't a ton going on with it at the moment, so it might be okay because there'd be a fairly long pause, because the next time that it would come up would probably be like level 12 or 13 or something. Maybe that's okay. Okay, so that's what the cultists are doing. They're trying to get in tune with this thing, and they're probably, given the nature of these things, fairly violent. And yeah, I guess that works. So which is a contract with the town and can intervene in town affairs. Like, I could see it. I do think an argument that this guy could make would be, hey, this is a topic of religious interest. You know, the church clearly is not taking any steps toward it. We cannot trust them to be on our side. I think that's a reasonable angle. Okay. Ooh, that would be a good idea. See the warlock as a messenger of the icon. Maybe the warlock isn't very open about it, though. Largely because they're convinced that their patron is a sentient astrolabe at the moment, and not the thing behind the astrolabe. So I'm not... I could see that happening, I just don't know if it's likely that the stars would align for that to happen. But I think it's a good idea. Oh, no, it's perfectly fine. We're just here chilling out and getting some stuff done, because if I do it on stream, I can't procrastinate it. And I am unfortunately somewhat bad about that. So, mention for a note at one of their... some of their... recently stolen. Cool. And that leads into, like, the arcs that we've already had. Church and people shouldn't rely on them and the gods so much. Which one of the party members will likely agree with. So this is Foundry. It's a virtual tabletop. Let me save this while I'm thinking of it. So yeah, this is Foundry. It's kind of like Roll20, Owlbear Rodeo, that sort of thing. It is kind of a premium BTT because you have to pay for a license to use it. But I run it locally. The players connect to my computer because I host it. It has a lot of plugin support. Yeah, it can do a bunch of like interesting things, like when one of my players scores like a critical hit, like I can make this play, among other things. So it's pretty good. The map itself, I made with I think it's Asgar's map builder. You can Google it and it'll show up. It's pretty popular from what I've seen. And then there's like a plugin to just import it straight into Foundry. The rain, I think, is a weather module. I have probably too many modules in here at the moment. Most of them I'm not using too much, but some of these do like little special effects. Like when you attack, like when the Warlock uses Eldritch Blast, it shoots a little magic blast. And I can probably pull up the battle map that we used last session as an example. This is also a module. So yeah, let's say they want to use magic. Use Eldritch Blast. And they're to attack this person. Now it doesn't. I don't know what the trigger is because I'm not usually on the side of the person shooting. But and let's see if this works. Usually it'll do a little zap. Maybe I have to open their character sheet, but very curious now. This is not something that I usually have to concern myself with. Okay, so we're gonna say Eldritch Blast. No? Okay. Well, there's a way that it happens. I don't know what it is. Gonna remove this from the combat log before players get confused. Yeah. I like it a lot. It's got a somewhat steep learning curve, but that's just because there's so many things that you can do. Yeah. I like it a lot. And I can import all of my stuff from beyond into it, so you know, if I ever need a monster, I can just reach in, grab whatever, and drop it in. It's got the stats and everything. So I am quite happy with it. I really need to clean all of this up, though. Yeah. Yeah, it's a mix of this, and then I keep, like, a Microsoft OneNote with stuff that I just throw in willy-nilly, and need to spend time organizing my thoughts on. Alright, I think that's a good part 1. Maybe there's a part 2, but I think final arc is final confrontation. At some point in the middle, probably toward the end. Okay. Final confrontation. And what I think I'll do with this is a spin off of what's currently what's happened, because it is a finished work now. Black Clover, which involves a arc villain that basically manipulates people's souls into worshiping him as a god and becoming his paladins. So I think we can kind of do a spin on that, where he does ascend to some amount of celestial power, and actively does grant some followers powers, whether or not they choose to accept them or not. I like the idea that he kind of does not care if they want it or not. He gives them the powers, and it is their choice to whether or not to use them. Because if they do use them, then they're worshiping him. And if they choose not to use them, then that is being directly heretical or blasphemous, which is also in his domain, so it's kind of a paradoxical situation. Which I kind of like the idea of. But I think we're good on Angelica now. I have a better idea of what I want to do here. The others are a bit harder. Artemisia, the hardest of them all, because he just likes going and adventuring and being a shopkeep, when she's not doing that. Actually, gonna get up for 2 seconds. Gonna pull up. Yeah, I like the economics too. That funny you mentioned that. This country over here is basically the world trade capital. So it's not that they stopped being a merchant, they're actually more of an archaeologist, so they run their own museum of the things that they find while they're out on the adventuring. And while they're not there, they have an employee hired to basically run the place for them. So it's not that they stopped, it's that their job is less of the person running the show and more the person that's going and getting the stuff. But this country here is the trade capital of the world, because I kind of lied. There is one other quote-unquote like celestial slash fiend on this plane, and it's the one that everyone assumes is the one. It's the god of commerce. Specifically what he does is he has a massive temple in the capital that prints magical contracts. Whatever the terms are on the contract, if both parties sign it, or all parties involved sign it, then that is magically enforced, kind of under sort of like a Gaius spell. The spirit of it is to ensure, all parties hold up their deal in a business transaction. However, bad actors have strong-armed people into signing contracts that negatively affect them. There's kind of like a it's a double-edged sword, because obviously anyone's going to, no matter what, anyone's going to find some way to use something for bad. So imagine a loan shark, like, basically has their guards like surround you and say, we're gonna, like, kill you if you don't sign this, and signing this just, like, basically indebts you to them for life. Over on Twitch, Velvet Morin, hello. We're just chatting about some world building stuff with people over in the YouTube chat. So we're kind of bouncing between the two at the moment. But yeah. That's what's going on over there. And what I do eventually want to do, and that's a future arc that they're just not the party's not a high enough level for, is I want to send them over here and have some stuff happen. And I am basically going to have some consequences from a previous campaign where they had found a, funnily enough, different god of commerce, though a much more malevolent one. The guy literally started a plague that killed like one of the party members' entire towns and wrecked most of the country, because overpopulation was becoming an issue and would have tanked the economy. So they like murked a not insignificant amount of the entire country's population just to ensure that the economy didn't tank. So obviously they got locked up for that in God jail. And the party basically went in, met that guy. He was a bit unhinged. Didn't free him, but they met another person in that prison who was like, yeah, no, I just couldn't control my divine powers. I'm good now, though. I can help you. And the party was like, sweet. Let that person out. Turns out they're just insane. Basically want to rule all of the cosmos across all of the prime material planes, and let this guy out because he's a good minion. So what he's going to do is he's actually going to go in here and corrupt the god of commerce into the god of greed, and I'm going to do a lot of like battle mechanics that like are money related, like there's like one in Baldur's Gate 3 where you take damage equal to the gold in your inventory. I'm probably not going to do that because that's a great way to one-shot people. But, stuff like that. What is the most chaotic thing your D&D character has ever done? That is hard to say because I am usually playing the voices of reason in the campaign. However, I can tell you a lot of crazy stuff that we have done. to my character's horror and chagrin. Let's start down the list. One of the things that immediately comes to mind is we dug a 2-mile tunnel from outside of a city to where we were pretty sure one of the big bad's hideouts was, so that we could then use Mirage Arcane to literally turn their hideout into lava. Unfortunately, they weren't home that day, but we killed a lot of other people. What else did we do? That was kind of one of the more grounded campaigns, actually. I think one of the more chaotic, stupid things I've done was a shaman confiscated my character's broom of flying. So, being a rogue, they snuck in and tried to steal it back. They got symboled in the face and feeble-minded for like 2 days, and then thought it'd be a great idea to immediately go back and do that again, which it then exploded on them. Going down the list, I've been in a few campaigns. Surprisingly enough, all with the same people. So, let's see. What's some of the more recent stuff we've done? One of our party members melted a guy, for some backstory reasons. Basically, I don't know all of the details, but I know the understanding was, the party member was, like, a professional, like, marksman, as, like, a kid. So, like, you know, the kitty cup stuff. And this guy's mother, like, framed them for cheating, ended up, like, exploding their gun in their hand and, like, taking off their arm. So they tracked this guy down. He's just a poor schmuck. Literally melted him into goo. Granted, he was working for the big bad, who is a cannibal tyrant, piloting a walking city on legs, in the vein of the Elden Ring, like, mausoleum walkers. So, in a way, kind of deserved, but also he was just a guy. What else have we done? There was a lot of weird amounts of inter-party conflict there, because that same person also worships the god of justice. And one of the other party members was a former spy for the enemy. So there was a lot going on there. Involved some ritualistic killings, among other things. Let's see, what else? That's that campaign. What's going on in the current one? We've had 3 different versions of the current one in another DM's campaign, because the party keeps getting themselves killed. The first one, I accidentally made a character who was very close to a clone of Percy from Critical Role. From, like, small town city. Their parents were the, like, heads of the place, and were secretly, like, werewolf cultists. And the night that they tried to turn him, the procedure failed. Turned him into an Order of the Lycan blood hunter, and he got out. Which, you know, led into werewolf theming being a part of that campaign, along with vampire theming, because similarly, another party member's town got taken over by vampires. So at one point, we had the Vampire-Werewolf Alliance give a party member lycanthropy, and that party member proceeded to... So we all failed our intelligence checks, actually, to notice that the party member had contracted lycanthropy. So we just kind of kept them locked up just to be sure, and they proceeded to Misty Step past the 2 not magic users and run rampant through the city and turn quite literally, I think, half of a city the size of New York into werewolves. We got that cleaned up. And then the next day, I proceeded to dare a potential big bad to basically leave us alone, or basically break a bag of reinforced bag of holding. And if he did, he could do whatever he wanted. And he proceeded to deal bring in 13 people to buff him up. He dealt 300 damage to it in one smite, which then exploded and yeeted quite literally the party, most of the city guard, that guy, and the patron goddess of the town into the Shadowfell, where the goddess did not return. She died, at least as far as has been confirmed for us. So that's probably the most chaotic thing I ever did. I dared the bad guy to open up a black hole to the Shadowfell. In my defense, I had smote the thing 5 times before, trying to see if we could break it. It hadn't happened. How was I supposed to know that it had it would not break unless it took 200 HP in one hit? Realistically, that's never happening. Unfortunately, it did then. That was how the first campaign ended. The second campaign ended in the Feywild. We came across some Fey dragons, and they charmed the barbarian, and as you can expect, that didn't end well, because the barbarian was one of the stronger members of the party. So we managed to snap the barbarian out of it. However, the dragons did kill one of the party members, at which point 2/3 of the remaining party, 1, 2, 3, me, them, yeah, 2/3 of the remaining party, was okay, we're killing them or we're going down. So the barbarian and my character chased the dragons. We did kill all of them. 2 of us at level 10 soloed 3 adult Fey dragons. Not soloed, there were 2 of us, but you know what I mean. The barbarian did die. I got out. And unfortunately, I was not high enough in my druid levels to have Revivify. Otherwise, that would have solved so many issues. So we retired with that campaign, with my character basically having a deathly fear of dying and getting to level 17 wizard and having 50 clones spread throughout the entire setting. The other remaining party member turned out to be working for one of the big bads, and just was okay, I'm gonna go work for them now. Whoop-de-doo. And they are probably somewhere in the setting now, still, working for the big bad. And then we're 120, about 120 years later. We're currently in the middle of basically magical corporations got way too powerful and are attempting a global takeover. By unlocking the root of all magic. I don't know all of the details because it's a lot of backstory stuff that's not related to my character. My character just was a sailor, and in the end apocalyptic events that happened 100 years ago, a meteor crushed their ship and the surrounding islands, and a lich attempted to bring back the entire crew as an undead army. Shadow sorcerer things happened, and they unlocked their shadow sorcerer powers. So the lich is now a warlock patron, and the goal is the deal is, all right, if you work for me, I will eventually properly res your entire crew. Which is not related at all to the current situation of magical corporations attempting a global takeover with the root of all magic. Which is equally funny because currently we're in the Feywild, just doing stuff. So, right. There's a thing I forgot. That party member that Misty stepped past us and turned an entire city into werewolves proceeded to go to the, Feywild and cause a massive plane-wide calamity there. Basically corrupting all of the Fey into, like, abominations. And we're kind of dealing with the aftermath of that. There is a new queen set up, of the Fey. We don't know who they are. We know that they're pretty volatile. We know that they've set up their own regime. And there is, like, a 80 to 90% chance that that is the same, like, player character that's been NPC'd out. Who just took over another plane through the power of lycanthropy. So that's something we're still looking into because we have to go now kill the queen to end their tyranny. But yeah, there's a lot going on. We've had a lot of continuity. But yeah. What was I doing with my life? My journal. Oh, right. So I think we have this person down. This character has a few things going on. They believe that mankind could not rely on the gods to get things done, more or less. They are from Ceres, which is basically a country that is on, like, a warpath for global domination. They're kind of stuck by virtue of geographic location at the moment. Basically, this is Ceres. They started, like, over here and then expanded outward because this plane used to be ruled by basically, like, elder giants. Like CR30, CR40, whatever you want to call them. There were 4 of them. Each of them basically ruled an element and a cardinal direction. And the, the Titan of Ice, they couldn't kill them, so they locked them away forever. And they basically set the elves, because they're the longest living, to be the eternal wardens of this Titan. As it has turned out in recent years, though, the Titan is a quite smooth sweet talker, and has convinced the current god queen, quote-unquote, take the god part as you will, to go on a path of global domination. So they've expanded outward, and even to other countries. The issues currently are the Aldarni Wastes are basically a massive desert where nobody wants to live, and the people who do live there hate these guys so much. And then there's the Empty. So a big thing about the setting is you can travel from east to west, but if you travel into the Empty, you do not come out the other side. And if you do, you are very lucky. The reason being is the map extends out actually to, like, here. And there's a lot going on over here, but basically there was this cataclysmic event predating the Titans that basically made a barrier down the planet. So sometimes it works as intended, and you go through and you pop out the other side. Sometimes planar magic issues happen, and you get lost in the Bermuda Triangle. Notably, out here is where the Warlock's patron is sealed, along with one of the gods of time. So, eventually, when I get to writing the Warlocks, one of the Warlocks arcs, they're taking a trip. And thankfully, a fair amount of the party is very adventurous-minded or archaeologists. So the idea of going and exploring a land that no one knew existed, with potential ancient civilizations and arts and cultures, is probably going to be a big draw. So yeah, I've got a lot planned for different places. I also plan for this setting to possibly hold multiple campaigns, though, so I don't want to burn all of my ideas at once. Like, this is going to be a very, like, Japanese, Chinese, Asiatic inspired area. I have a feeling it's going to be its own little grounded mini campaign. I could see a campaign here where the players deal with the consequences of military expansion, or they will be a part of it. One of the two. Here is going to be very Nordic inspired. There's actually a world tree here, which is why it has a very specific name. So yeah, like, there's a lot going on. A lot of different ideas, and I just want to make sure that I balance them all. So yeah. They're from Saris. Oh, thanks for the check-in. I actually think I may have my stuff turned off, so I hope that worked. Probably didn't. In the future, if you check in, you should have a little, card that will pop up, with, like, a, punch card. But yeah. So I have to remember the exact order of timelines for this character. So they're from Saris, but performed a ritual that accidentally viced their research assistant, as well as their, I think, left eye. Obtain knowledge of what lies beyond mortality. This caused them to question the legitimacy of God Queen and got them kicked out of their druid grove. They traveled Gracia and are currently a traveling or a guest professor. Okay. So the question is, what do I write for this character? Actually, I know what I write because they took a subclass that kind of leads them into this. So they took a subclass that's related to basically aberrational incursions from beyond the stars. So they, along with Andromache, along with Bren, are going to be very tied into the thing I mentioned a while back, where there's currently kind of like an active invasion going on from aberrations in the plane of dreams, or an outer plane like the plane of dreams. Maybe we'll do like the plane of nightmares or something. So the question is how to turn that into a main arc. I guess I kind of already have, in an extent. So what has more recently occurred is that, funnily enough... Oh, thank you for the follow! What has more recently occurred is that it's half of the party. The party members that don't live in their main city of operation have, for as a reward for basically uncovering an ancient dwarven city, they've been basically given permanent like rooms at a very, very nice inn, like a 4 or 5-star hotel. So what happened was that the two of them were in the like restaurant area of the hotel, the inn, and I put a bard there, and the eventual goal is for the bard to kind of become one of the main big bads of this incursion situation that's going on. But right now they're starting off as just a normal person with a cursed item. So the cursed item itself is based off of Perish Song from Pokemon. Is the music? No, it's not. Where if you hear the music from this item, it's a flute. In 3 days, it will summon these these sound-based enemies from that plane to basically murk you. So the two party members were there, and one of the party members is a bard. Bren is a bard warlock multi-class. They saw this person playing somewhat mediocrely, and for some reason or another, clocked this random, just like, typical bard as their, like, mortal enemy. I didn't, like, say anything weird. I was just like, yeah, there's a bard there. They're kind of mid. And, like, they were like, you're it. You're the person that ruined my life. So, basically, they watched this bard get fired for being not good at their job. And so they're like, okay, well, let me wrap up, leave at the end of your shift. So they pull out the cursed flute, and they play it. Since then, literally anything to do with these, like, otherworldly beings Bren has just placed entirely, like, blaming the bard. Which, or their sentient astrolabe. Which, to be fair, is true, but they've got it wrong which one is which. Or which one is doing the issues. So, they kind of had to roll some intelligence checks to nail down details. Yeah, no, a current, like, ongoing thing, is that this bard was traveling, like, north out of the country, basically being led by their own spirit guide of sorts that's, like, cursing one of the objects that they stole, and obviously these things that they stole are going to be the things stolen from the Skulltist camp that they're gonna go fight in that one arc. Basically, yeah, like, dead bodies across the countryside, that the party has been, like, trying to figure out and fix and solve. Eventually they made a big enough stink about it that this person finally caught on to the fact that they were being followed and they've stopped. But that is not stopping them from seeking further power and being corrupted further, though, by this guide of sorts. So the eventual goal there is going to be that they also kind of become this, like, major big bad power. Probably just wants to do wanton destruction. Oh, I do like a Yellow King idea. That might be something I do. That's actually a really good idea. But yeah, eventually, I do want them to I mean, to be fair, like, it's kind of the whole Joker thing of one bad day will make you pull the trigger on a lot of things that you shouldn't. However, they think it's a great idea at the moment, so... but yeah. So that's basically what's going on. That'll probably be like a level 12 or 13 thing, maybe. It'll certainly be before they go off and deal with Bren's patron. But another thing that's currently going on with this character is, in the backstory, they did a ritual that contacted them with the Pale Knight. And if you have listened to Dungeon Dad or have any experience with prior editions, they are basically... Their classification is that of an archdemon. Though it is, by all accounts, like an honorary title, because they don't know what else to call her. Oh. Hello. Yeah. So, that's currently what's going on. That's the person they contacted. This person, I am basically, and I apologize, I think this model's broken. I do need to fix it. Let's see here. For some reason, my command to turn on the voice, or the lip sync, did not work, or does not work. Okay, there we go. But yeah, I have to be very careful because it picks up my air conditioning. But yeah, basically, where am I going with this? Right, so they contact this person, and I'm basically putting it, like, the lore of this being the Pale Knight is that their form basically cannot be contained by the Prime Material Plane. So I'm just putting them as, like, they are something beyond the gods. And the party member, Andromache, happened to be amusing enough to catch their attention and ask a few questions about, like, what deity is like and what is beyond mortality and that sort of thing. So I feel like an interesting thing would be to make this character relevant, though at that point I don't know what the party could do about it, because, like, reality basically fails around this being. Like, I think you could say that, like, this character and the Lady of Pain from... I'm trying to remember the plane that they're from. Sigil, there we go. Could probably duke it out, and this character would probably win. Or it'd be at least really close. So... I'm figuring out how I want to tie that in. I'm thinking that she, like, sends one of her minions to just, like, keep tabs on the party, and they check in, kind of like Raphael from, like, Baldur's Gate 3 or something. I haven't really nailed it down. I do have, like, art, or at least a, like, picture in my head. But that's something that I probably need to give some thought to. Let's see, what else? But yeah, I think what I need to do now, because we're getting close to 2 hours into the session, is actually figure out what I'm going to do next session. So we're in a weird situation where I spent like 3 sessions of more or less, like, coming up with a lot of, like, stuff on the fly, not because I didn't plan for things, but because the party did things entirely outside of my expectations, which, you know, fair, it's what the party does. But what's currently going on is the party is basically transporting some smuggled griffins. They're like endangered not endangered, but they're like livestock that this country particularly uses as like mounts for their mounted cavalry. So basically having them anywhere else in the world, outside of Baby Saris, because they're like, oh cool, war machines, not legal. So they were over here like investigating some deaths and found a mother griffin and 2 babies that they proceeded to haul back to the capital and report to their like boss at the time. So they're kind of in the process of hauling these like griffins across the world to their home country where they would be, you know, properly cared for. It's gone well so far. Basically, this was them infringing upon a smuggling ring that the griffins had escaped from. So along the way, they had been attacked like while they were on a ship, going up a waterway. And what had happened was... Oh, it's leaning in because I'm leaning in. What had happened was that their like guide, the NPC that's going with them, went to like the main guardhouse of this country's capital to like register everything. And what I was going to have him do was the guard to just like show up at night and be like, hey, can you come down to the station? Like, we got your guy here, just like confirm for us. And they worded it as, hey, you know, could you come down to the station so we can ask you some questions related to like some livestock that you brought in? And the party immediately kind of wrapped this around to, oh my god, the guard are corrupt. How would they know this? And proceeded to have the Warlock Bard summon 3 swarms of rats to attack them while they ran away. They ran halfway across the city, broke into the stables that were holding the griffins, and basically smuggled them out of the city. This was not planned, by the way. I was just gonna have them show up and like introduce some NPCs and then move on with life and have the NPCs be relevant later. So in a way, I guess the party's international criminals now. Yeah, I get to DM for that. So what happened was they got the griffins out of the city. Sticking a pin in that, this all started from a thing where they were going to visit, obviously, these small towns, really like fishing villages, to investigate those deaths. And the archaeologist of the group was like, okay, I am a fancy person. I like, especially moonlighting as a fancy person. I'm going to write a letter of introduction to the noble families in the area. And I was like, okay, cool, yeah, just write, go ahead and, you know, if you want to write it out, write me a letter to them, and we'll go with it. So they decided to name one of the noble families in the area the Giovanna family. And I cannot let that stand without, you know, doing something about that. So I proceeded to look up, like, celebrities with stands. And then slightly change their names. So, you know, Bruce Wayne, Brucian Giovanna. Michael Jackson is Michello Giovanna. Freddie Mercury is Mercurio Giovanna. And he's the patriarch of the family. This guy. He, similar to Bruce Wayne, is like the owner / CEO of basically a weapons company. So I had him show up to try to intercept the party from capturing these griffins. because I decided on the spur of the moment that he's in charge of their smuggling ring, in charge of the smuggling ring. So they beat him. He gets away because he has astral self monk. So step of the wind, all that fun stuff, and grappling hook because Batman. So he gets away, and it really bugs the I am a member of the elite guardsmen member of the party. So basically, this smuggling ring has been like on them like this entire trip. That's why they got attacked while they were on a ship. That's why here, when that party member in particular snuck the Griffins out of the city because she had animal handling training with Griffins particularly, she got them out while the rest of the party had to escape on foot, basically, because they didn't have training in, like, riding Griffins, basically. I had him in the city, and he noticed them because they made a big enough of a, like, scene. Yeah, he basically followed them, and initiated a 1v1 with that party member, which is why we have the scene here. Like, they fought under encounter enemies. Yeah, they fought not that guy. They fought him. It was a 1v1 kind of brawl. Went surprisingly well. And then I was like, okay. So a thing that I have been hinting toward the party since the start of the campaign is the existence of some organization that is like manufacturing these like weird biotech weapons. Like the first combat the party had, one of the bandits that they fought had gotten his hands on like a gun from them, and it is basically a like gun that you can load spell cartridges in. So he accidentally polymorphed one of his own men by accidentally shooting them. And I've dropped a few hints since then, and I was like, okay, yeah, it would make so much sense that the CEO of the corrupt weapons company is working with basically a body horror cult company organization thing. So when he dropped at 0 HP, he basically, in JoJo's fashion, like JoJo Bizarre Adventure fashion, pulled out a mask and put it on, and turned from Bruce Wayne into the Batman who laughs. Now I have to figure out, because they beat him, they did beat him, they chunked through him, and he definitely got some of the Joker venom into a few of them that is certainly not going to probably have consequences later. But I was planning on them fighting, like, some undead here, and I need to decide if that's something I still want to do, and if I do, I need to get it set up. Because this was supposed to be the big combat. Because, yeah! So I'm basically doing, like, a little one-shot adventure. Look that I had from here that I actually need to make tokens for now that I think about it, but I'll probably do that in more of a spur of the moment and drop them in as we go. But what I do need to do is figure out where this plugin put all of my stuff. Now that I think about it. Because it did something with my battle maps and I don't know where they are. But yeah! Just going to yoink that over here. Maybe it's in my emails by chance. But yeah. Basically... Excuse me. Basically, and I already hinted to it a little bit on the way here, they know that there is a gray man with purple crystals. What it is, sort of a lich of sorts that is trying to resurrect itself through, these purple crystals by invading towns, basically jabbing, like, crystals into them and animating their corpses with them. So they're in the rainforest, so they're probably gonna find some, like, dinosaurs in the marshes, and that sort of thing. And yeah, it'll be interesting. I just need to find, because I actually bought some battle maps. So I'm going through my email now, trying to find them. That was unfortunately like 3 weeks ago. So. But yeah, that is probably what I will do. I'll probably go ahead and, like, throw that at them. I don't quite feel... The issue is I don't know what to do next. Like, I could just go ahead and let them get to the next, like, get there and drop the griffins off. And then move on to that arc where they go fight the cultists. Like, it's an option that I have. It's just one of those situations of, like, I don't know what the good... I don't know what the best choice is. I think is a good way to put it. I don't really know what my best option is, and, like, realistically, I could probably do either, and it would be totally fine. It's just kind of some decision paralysis on my part at this point. Still looking in my email inbox. Yeah. I am just trying to figure out what to do with my life, as may be apparent. Can I search RPG? Wait, I probably downloaded it all now that I think about it. Oh, that's not it. Ah, here we go. Alrighty. Oh, and I already extracted it all. Excellent. Okay. Oh, wait, that would make sense. I already have the village there. So what I need to do is I need to make a map for the tar pit. ability we will off so that everybody can see everything. Alright. And now I need to put in the final boss chamber. Oh man. Actually, you know what I can do? So, we talked about the stuff that Foundry can do earlier. One thing you can do is to not do that. Levels? No. Darkness level. Turn it down. Because I'm going to place some light sources. Oh. Make it a little bit more aesthetic. I'll say that this is like glowing portions of the crystal. Alright. I do wish I could give it kind of a, like, flickering glow. That'd be really cool. Hmm. Ooh. What's this do? Oh. See, I'm learning things about this. Alright, so ambient light palette. Let's do animation. And let's do like a flickering light. Alright. And for the crystals now, let's do mysterious emanation. Not really what I'm looking for. Radial rainbow? Fairy light. Oh, I'm good. Siren light? Oh, it's actual siren. Okay. Hmm. Ghostly light. You know what? Sure. And I think these things are set to respect walls if I put them down. So let's put some walls. And to like stitch together this section. Good enough. Alright, I'll catch you later, Nixo. Thanks for showing up. I will probably be wrapping up the stream relatively soon as well. Mostly trying to just get this in order before closing things out. Alright, that looks pretty good. Alrighty. We're gonna do some lighting here too. Okay. And then light appearance. What do I do the I'm going to do like a brownish color. Ugly brown. Yeah. It does nothing for me. Oh, right. I need to do an animation type. Is there like a bubbling? I don't think it's gonna work. Okay, let's turn the darkness level up. And let's make sure that the grid is enabled. Okay, it's there. It's faint. Okay. I think this is a good spot to wrap up. We've been going on for about 2.5 hours. and I usually call streams at about 3. So, thank you for everyone for showing up. I think this is where we're going to end it, though, so I appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your day.